Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Candid Conversations. I'm your host, Cynthia Milton. Our program is designed to inform, uplift, and inspire you. Today, we're continuing part two of our conversation with the great Ezrah Brown. He is a world-renowned saxophonist. His music has literally taken him to every continent in the world. Yet he makes his home here in Jackson, Mississippi, and he's working hard to make Jackson, Mississippi better through business. And he's here to tell us more about that. Ezrah, welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
So, for those who maybe don't know, we're just going to talk about a little bit about what you've done. You got to Jackson, Mississippi on a Greyhound bus via Jackson State University.
Oh, yeah.
You're a member of the Sonic Boom of the South.
Oh, yeah.
And began performing as a teenager professionally. Went on to perform with, some will remember, Patrice Monsell and B.B. King and Bobby Bland and on the stage with Johnny Taylor, all over the world, literally.
Yeah.
And but you decided to make your headquarters, to make your home here, and you decided to take another trajectory into the business world. So talk to us about that decision and what you wanted to accomplish with that.
Well, I always wanted to have a business way back in the day. Growing up, my mother, dad, and my household, we couldn't say, as a kid, we couldn't say the word can't. So you go through life and kind of understanding many things that you can do, and then how can you do things. And
I love that. Let me just stop. That's a moment to ponder. We need to bring that back.
Oh yeah.
You were not allowed to say the word can't.
Right.
And then it shaped you.
Oh yeah.
To look for the cans.
And then it's a complexity on how many things you can do, and then you have to choose which one of these cans are you going to make your thing in life. And the one thing I wanted to do was music, but also I had a love for business, seeing my grandmother and seeing my mother and my dad, as far as entrepreneurship my whole life. And then growing up, knowledge of self, understanding how I want to help my community. The one thing that I figured out, we need resources and we need knowledge, not just knowledge of self, but we need resources and how to do that. So using my music career, once I left Jackson, Mississippi, I moved to New York City. And while I was there doing music, I was also there to study like urban redevelopment, to study small life, how homes are built smaller, but it has all the components.
Were you in a formal graduate program, or were you in a special program?
This is just something that I loved.
Okay.
So I was that guy, that was sitting at the bookstore in the back with all the magazines stepped up to here with the coffee. That was me, you know what I'm saying? It's till today somebody thought like, man, I thought you worked at the bookstore. No, I never worked there. I was just always there. So magazines were the portal to the world, and I didn't know that I loved design. So interior design, and then I figured out I love architectural construction, interior architecture in that sense. So I love modern furniture, that type of, mid-century kind of vibe. And I'm it's kind of, it's weird to see that from I guess a black guy that looks like me. You know what I'm saying? You remember Pier 1? All this kind of. So I'll be the guy walking around Pier 1. Everybody looking at me like, yeah, but that's my shop. I'm looking for little trinkets and stuff. So I wanted to open my first business. Was design. It was a business called 7 Studios. It was a nighttime business where we featured many different musicians and artists, and it was right here in Jackson, Mississippi. Had that business for about 15 years, but it was my crib at first. So it was designed as a house that I had to move out eventually, but I wanted to make it feel like a loft. So that was my first dive into design and also about business, because we wanted to take something in the hood. It was completely in the hood. So we had free Wi-Fi for the hood. And actually what we would do is we would block off the area and we would have graffiti sessions. So we show the kids, not just don't mark on the wall, we want to show you how to build art with this. How can you make money? We would bring in different music artists to show how to feed, okay, that music is dope, So we worked with many at that time. David Banner, so I was a musical director for David Banner, his first musical director. Plus, that's me on the record. Um, we would have hip hop sessions with a band. So at this point, we wanted to bring the community in to what we were doing because we are the community. And instead of us spending our money elsewhere within the community, we want to figure out how can we keep that money in our own hood. You know what I'm saying? So that over the years, I wanted to try to mirror the things of how we spend money and how can we mirror that into our own neighborhood to rebuild our neighborhood for the things that we need.
May I ask where exactly was Seven Studio?
That was in Midtown. That's Millsaps Avenue, Wesley Avenue, right by the train tracks. It gave that New York feel because it had the train tracks with all the graffiti and all that kind of stuff. And at that time, I don't even know if people know this now, that area is carved out as a district. So we could be open until 4 a.m. So we were open from 10 p.m. to 4 p.m. every Friday and Saturday night for 5 plus 10 years.
Interesting. So, but you haven't put your entrepreneurship hat down. You have
Didn't
some other ventures now. So talk to us about what you got going on now.
So only I'm one of the few musicians. I'm not gonna say a few, but I don't drink or smoke, but I stay up all night, so I needed coffee. And one of the statements that one of my friends would tell me is, we want to build what we buy. So that always stuck with me. Want to build what we buy. So I was always spending money at this unnamed place with a mermaid that has a green logo, whatever that place is. I don't know. And I would always spend money there. And then I really wanted to own my own coffee shop. So I did the research, and years later, actually, I started this 20 years ago because I tried to open this 20 years ago here in Jackson, Mississippi. For all the people I made coffee to 20 years ago, please forgive me. I sucked back then. But, thank you for a forgiving heart. You know what I mean? I'm better now, and I got my own shops. You know what I'm saying? But I'm here to tell you that don't give up on a dream. 20 years ago, I was trash, like completely garbage, completely trash as far as my coffee making skills. And I still wanted to do it. So I did more research, and I came back to the table 20 years later, and now I've opened a place called Soleil. So Soleil is French. I got the name. I was spending some time in Dakar, Senegal. They have a drink called Ataya. Ataya is Wolof. So they speak in Dakar. They speak Wolof is the tribal language, and they speak French also. So it's kind of a little mix. Wolof is a kind of mix of both. So Ataya comes in 3 little small drinks, and you pour it. It's really green tea, but they make it so strong. It's stronger than espresso. So the first one's got a lot of sugar and a lot of mint. So the first one is going to be kind of bitter, and you have to drink all 3, and they're only about this big. And the guy pour it like from as high as you can think, and sometimes he can do like these fancy skills. You're like, what you doing? You're gonna spill it. He never spills it. You sit on the corner, you drink this. It changed my life.
This drink changed your life.
This drink, and my first time in Africa, changed my life. I remember when I was there the first time, a guy looked at me, and it was like a movie. It was like I don't know. And he said, welcome home. And I looked at him, and I was like, oh my goodness, he's talking to me. I'm home. I'm Africa, man. This is Africa. Man, Africa is just, it's better than any TV show you would ever see in your life, just being there. And I was just in one part at that time. And then ever since then, every year I wanted to go to a different part of Africa. And ever since then, it just changes, blows my mind every single time. But that first time is where I really opened my eyes to a whole new version of me that I never thought was there. And that time I was like, hey, I'm opening this coffee shop. So once I left Africa, ended up coming back to the States, and I wanted to open a coffee shop in my hometown, Florence, South Carolina. The name of that shop is called Soleil Coffee. Years later, COVID happened. I had to shut that coffee shop down. I thought the world was going to end. It didn't end. And I rode over the trucks. God sent story. The week before COVID started, I said I'm going to buy a coffee truck. I got on a Greyhound, another Greyhound, drove to Atlanta, bought a coffee truck, bought it back, COVID started. how that happened. You know what I'm saying? Um, COVID started, and I ended up re-kitting the truck, and the truck propelled me all the way through COVID, and then I ended up opening a shop here in Jackson, Mississippi, which is my second shop technically, but my first brick and mortar since COVID. Soleil Coffee, and we're due to open our third shop, which will be downtown Jackson, Mississippi. And I'm here not only just to open coffee shops and to stress test and actually build a brand, but Jackson, Mississippi has something special that you can't get nowhere in the world. And I think I don't want to say that too loud because I don't want all y'all to come, but hey, some of y'all, hey, it's something special here that if you make it here, you can do it anywhere in the world. So that's one reason why I'm here.
There's so much in what you said. I feel like you see Jackson through more than just physical eyes.
It not in many different levels. Jackson has. Uh, um, we talked earlier about curing and how it's changed and kind of developed. And everyone looks at. And let me say this kind of precariously: people look at pain in different ways, but also pain is also growth. If your shoes too tight, you growing. That doesn't mean that somebody trying to do something to you at the same time. That means you growing so fast you need some new shoes. But sometimes we get pain mixed up. Jackson, Mississippi has the gold right here, and right now it's a platform that we, as far as a connection, as far as economic inclusion, which I shouldn't have to say for a predominantly black-owned city. We're talking about 85% black, economic inclusion. But because there's all this property, and a majority of this property, let's talk about downtown. Black people don't own. So that needs to be a conversation. We need to be the conversation on, yes, we have black leadership all the way across the board, but what is being done? So there is a level of accountability at the same time, but we can't want something and spend our money in a different direction. And I say that for the churches, I say that for the schools, I say that for the political leaders. If we want the city to change, which this city is the model for the world, this city, hate to put that on us, but yes, we have the key to the world. But we will have to change how we spend our own money and actually start spending our money within our community and sending our kids to get education. Sending your grandmama and your mama to get education, to get better education. Yes, she's good and we love her. Mama, we love you. But you need to get some more education if you're going to keep that job. You know what I'm saying? And Pa, we love you too, but I can't keep you messing up and we keep paying you at the same time, because I want my kids and I want my kids' kids to have a better life, and they don't need to go someplace else. They can have a better life right here in Jackson, Mississippi. But until we start building businesses that we want to go to, and not saying church and saying schools and saying things like, hey, we want to build a community for us, but yet we all at Piccadilly. Piccadilly ain't black or brown owned. Or we say, hey, we want to do this, we want to do this, we want to do this, and we go to that same green owned coffee place, whatever that is. Or we want to do this and we want to tell our kids, hey, we want you to do better, but we keep opening places not like computer shops. Why we don't have computer shops? Yes, we got enough barbershops and salons and all of this kind of stuff. Not, hey, I need my haircut too. But that's beyond the point. The point is we need to show our kids how to make rims, not buy rims. How do we design cars? Not just buy cars, And I'm not going to say I fought Jackson State. I'm not going to say I fought the education system, but we can't build people to be the top anymore. We own the companies. Then we can get more of the residual. That's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm pushing. Sorry to be hard about it, but I can't see it winning no other way.
Well, and that's not to knock anyone who has whatever business. If you have a business and you do it with excellence and you do it well, kudos off to you, because building a business is hard, but what you're saying is broaden the perspective. Let's look at some other businesses. Let's look at a broader door. Let's look at a broader way of developing. In fact, you talk about urban redevelopment. You want to see more urban redevelopment in the city of Jackson.
Urban redevelopment, larger, more realistic discussions on trash cans. More larger, more realistic discussions on where do I put my trash? Why aren't there any trash cans on my block? Why are my street lights not working? Why do you say it's crime? Why I can't see? Why I have to ask all these questions when the person that's over my precinct look just like me? That person probably go to the same church I go to, giving the same money, but we give them people a pass. And then we say it ain't happening, and then kids get hurt, somebody happens, we talk about crime, but ain't nobody fighting, being like, hey, Mr. So-and-so down the street, why my street light ain't on?
You think there needs to be a greater level of accountability?
A greater level of accountability, because Jackson, Mississippi, let me say this clearly, ain't short on money. People want to say that Jackson, Mississippi ain't got money. Jackson, there's some fantastic money here in Jackson, Mississippi. Fantastic money here. So that things can get done. Why they aren't getting done is a conversation we need to start having. And that's what we're here. And that's what Soleil is about. Having a place where we can have those conversations. And you can spend your money on somebody actually. And I'm going to say this. I don't only hire black people. I'm here to hire the best person that's going to make your coffee. I don't care if it's an alien. If an alien coming to me tomorrow and say, hey, I want a job, my job is to train, because, hey, we the world. I need people to understand that we are here to change the platform of what black entrepreneurship looks like. We're here to have the best.
Well, some interesting points. So, what do you think about what Mr. Brown has said? We want you to join the conversation. Go to our Facebook page, like, comment. If you think that we've discussed something worth sharing with someone else, share. If you want to get involved in that discussion, if you want to get involved in the movement, go to our Facebook page and let us know. And speaking of Facebook pages, we want to give you an opportunity to give your social media, talk about any projects you have coming up, let the people know what's going on and how they can get a hold of you, and if they want to come alongside with you with some of the things that you're trying to do.
You could definitely hit us up online, Soleil Coffee. That's SOULE coffee.com. You can order online. You can actually check out all of our social media there, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We'll be opening our next location downtown Jackson, Mississippi next month, February. We're 365ers. We believe in Black History 365. Support the community. Be about the community. If you're scared, get a dog.
Well, Ezra Brown, thank you for coming. So I think I don't know if I want to call you a Renaissance man or a nerd. Can you be a jazz artist and be a nerd? Because you play like 5 jazz music, you play like 5 other instruments, you travel the world, you're socially conscious, you're a businessman. You're a gem in our city, and we're glad to have you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
And we're glad to have you here at Candid Conversations.
Thank you.
I want to let you know about a little something coming up. A inaugural fashion showcase. It's also featuring music. It's with LBD Pinnacle Talent Agency. That is going to be January 25th, 2024. It's at the Phase 2 Event Hall at 1290 East County Line Road. Want to know more? Call Clarence Beeman. That number is 662-607-8842. You've been listening to Candid Conversations. I'm your host, Cynthia Milton. The director is Chelsea Thomas. We're in We Believe Digital Studios here in Jackson, Mississippi. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day, everyone.